Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Fear-Free Passive Investing. I know it's been a little while since we've done a full-length video like this, but there's good reason for that. Frankly, I had a ton of content planned around this new deal that I'm doing, everything from due diligence to acquisitions to things to look out for. But then this coronavirus issue became much bigger than anyone could have thought. And so that sort of scrapped a lot of that plans. Not that that's not important stuff, but mostly because now we focus more on preservation of capital as opposed to finding new deals and getting good stuff. We're still doing that stuff, but obviously more important than that is how you can protect yourself given what's about to go down. Now we're gonna start this entire video with the giant caveat that I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert, I'm not an infectious disease expert. So we don't really know what's going to happen with this coronavirus, but today is Tuesday, March 24th as I'm filming this, and so we're going off of that date and what we know at that point. Now we're probably going to talk a lot about many different things regarding this virus, but I think most important, what I want to talk about today is something that I'm really grateful for, and that is professional asset management. And if you don't know what asset management is, it's essentially managing the management company. It's managing the deal, and asset management means you're taking everything in the business plan and making sure it gets implemented correctly so that you can hit the returns that the sponsorship team puts together. Now, asset management has always been one of those things that's really critical to making a business plan work. But now with this virus, what's about to happen with, probably what's about to happen with vacancies, people losing their jobs, unemployment rate's gonna go up, you're gonna have some significant pressure on your multifamily buildings, but also your commercial buildings if you're already not experiencing that. So asset management is one of those things that's really going to make or break your deal, and it's really going to carry you through those hard times if you have professional asset management. If you don't, you're probably going to suffer. So let's talk for a couple minutes on why this is such a big hardship and such a big workload for commercial investors. Every week there's calls that go on between the management company, the asset management company, and the ownership. Sometimes they're calls, sometimes they're emails. But the most important thing is you get an idea of where your property sits and a picture of what it looks like on that particular week. This includes for multifamily like vacancies, rehabs going, evictions happening, any number of vacant units that are coming online, or where we're at with renewal rates on new leases, how many people have walked through the building or how many people have gotten tours of the units. For commercial stuff, it's things like sales projections for your tenants, where things are at with vacancies, advertisements with the broker, if you're using a broker to advertise your units. Really important metrics that you need to track on a regular basis. So that in itself is a big deal. That's every single week that you're looking at those numbers. But on top of that, you probably have some sort of renovation if you're doing a value add, or you have maintenance issues, or you have reviews, you have tenant disputes. You have all these things that are just day-to-day mundane issues that are guaranteed to come up. And if the asset manager isn't paying attention to some of these things, that's when the slippery slope starts to happen. Now, any one of those small little items isn't going to kill the deal. It's not going to miss your projections. However, if these things start to slip, it's easier and easier and easier for those things to build up. Now, it's no secret that commercial real estate has blown up over the past 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and you have a lot of new entrances into this space, myself included. Now, none of that is bad, except for the fact that a lot of these newcomers are actually doing their own asset management. A lot of these amateurs will take on asset management in-house, think they can handle it, and will just assume that things are going to operate the same way as a professional would do that. That's not the case. I can tell you for sure that's not the case. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to this rule. I know some fantastic people that are actually doing their own asset management, but it's also their full-time job. You have a lot of people these days that are trying to juggle acquisitions with asset management, with perhaps property management even, and that just becomes too much to handle on your own, especially if you're a one-man operation or a one-woman operation. This is too much to handle. So if you don't have a team in place, you're going to experience some significant hardship, I believe, because that is so much work in and of itself. And if you're not contracting the other things out, you're gonna have to make some tough decisions on whether you focus on asset management, whether you focus on managing the actual property managers. Things like this are going to come up, and it just has me so grateful that we contract with a very experienced third-party asset management company on a lot of our deals. Now, I'm not here to plug that one company. There's a bunch of asset management companies that are great at what they do, I'm sure. However, the point is I want to raise exposure to this is something that operators and investors actually need to understand before they make an investment. Who is doing the asset management is a question that everyone needs to be asking. And if it's the in-house team or the sponsor team says they are going to do asset management, they need to have employees in place or operations or systems in place and a track record of showing that they can handle this given their workload. Now, from an operator standpoint, this is a no-brainer, right? You have someone who is an expert in their field, who is basically a force multiplier for you to be able to offload some of that asset management stuff. Some of it, not all of it. We still have to do a little bit, but they keep track of the day-to-day business plan, making sure that your investors are gonna hit their returns. From an investor standpoint, again, a no-brainer to me, because you know your sponsorship team doesn't have to be worrying about all the minute little things. Now, they are paying someone quite a lot of money to make sure that they are going to hit those metrics that make sure that this investment is successful. The obvious downside for the sponsorship team is like what I said, it's expensive. You give away a lot of money to this asset management company. But for me, like I said, this is a no-brainer. This comes as close as you can get to ensuring that your investors are going to be happy with their returns, because you can take advantage of economies of scale, professional employees doing their job day in, day out. This is what they do. And so they're obviously going to be better at it than I am. So for that reason and a lot of more, I encourage you, if you're a passive investor, make sure that your sponsorship team is using professional asset management. Now, I'm not saying that they should have to contract with a third party, but just make sure it's someone who's done it before, who knows what they're doing, is dedicated to asset management and nothing else, and you should be pretty successful. But, you know, like I said at the start of this video, with this coronavirus situation, this is going to be painful for a lot of people for probably a little while now. So hopefully you have the systems in place to make sure that your sponsorship team is utilizing this asset management. If not, I encourage you to reach out to them and ask them what their plan is for asset management long term and how they plan on meeting that business plan despite everything that's going on. I hope you are all staying safe, healthy, washing your hands, not going out, all that good stuff that's going to kill this as soon as possible so we can get on with our normal lives. I know I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be putting out some content for everyone here, hopefully a lot more generating, but with kids at home full time, full day, it's going to be tough. So bear with me. Make sure to check out the Fear-Free Passive Investing podcast if you haven't. It's different content that's here. You can find that on all the regular podcast apps, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. Leave a like, rating, review on that podcast. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button down below, and hopefully we'll continue putting out some more content for everyone. So thank you so much for watching this video. Look forward to talking with you next time.